Hello, everybody! Welcome back to episode number 2 of recent video game pickups. My name is Charles. You can call me Charwhale if you like. And today I have some Game Boy Advanced games. Last time was regular Game Boy and Game Boy Color. There are some Game Boy Color games in this lot, but most of this lot came from the same person. But I have some loose games here that actually came from local flea markets and thrift stores and antique shops and things like that. Those I will cover first. And everything here I've gotten in the past month or two. And the reason I'm putting them in the video is because, well, they're not the first time I've gotten these copies, but they're fantastic games, and I think that I should go over them simply because, I think they're a lot of fun, and I think other people will think they're a lot of fun too. So the first thing I have here, as you can see right here, is just a regular Game Boy Advance. It has a little bit of scratches on it right here, but the buttons, especially the bumpers, are really nice, which is unusual. Usually these things are kind of booty. But the thing that I like about it the most, even though it has this sticker on it here, it does still have this, the battery cover, which a lot of times gets lost. I don't really know how people lose these, but a lot of the times it gets lost. I also really like that the battery bay in here is not corroded whatsoever. It's gorgeous. It's perfect. 10 out of 10. I like that. Usually, these will be somewhat corroded because people like to leave their batteries in, which always makes me super sad. But another thing that came with this that I thought was really neat is the light for it. I think this light is for the Game Boy Color, if I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I don't think this was made for the Game Boy Advanced. Oh, but it goes in right here, right where the other cables would. And if I were to turn this on, which would require me putting batteries in it, it would put light on my screen, because this, of course, was before there was backlit screens. So that was how you would get light to your Game Boy. This was actually something that I had when I was younger. It was essential if you were going to play either at night or if you were going to play in the car, which I did a lot. So that's the system. Nothing super special there, but I still think it was worth putting in there. Now I'll move into a couple games. The first 5 are loose, and then the rest from there are going to be boxed. So I'll start with the odd one out, the Game Boy Color game. It is Frogger 2 for the Game Boy Color. I love the Game Boy Color games. I love their transparency. I like that you can see everything in there. It's really nice. Really nice indeed. But regardless, this is Frogger 2. I believe on other systems this is called Swampy's Revenge, I think. You can't really see all of it on this Game Boy sticker here, but he is inside of a crocodile's mouth here. And on other releases you see the whole crocodile and he's just kind of sitting in there, because that's a gameplay aspect. I really like the Frogger series. And this one, I think this one improved upon Frogger 1 a lot. It put in a lot more stages. I think it put in 30-something stages. So that's a heck of a lot of stages. It also put in more, I don't want to say more bad guys, because it's not really bad guys. It's just things that could hurt you. It put in more obstacles. So I think it put in rock slides. Yeah, I think it did put in rock slides. And that was a pain in the butt, if I remember right. But regardless, I also like that this game added a sort of collection element to it. You got, I think they were gems. You would go around and you would pick them up from either the traffic, you would have to pick it out in front of the traffic, or from the logs, of course. And they would give you extra lives or bonus points. And I thought that was a welcome addition, in my opinion, to the Frogger series, because they hadn't had that beforehand. So regardless, Frogger 2 for the Game Boy Color. I'm going to mention this before I move on. In the first episode, I did some relatively short reviews, and I just kept it down to a minimum. In this episode, I want to try my best to get longer reviews out. So, be in for the long ride, I guess. Next up, though, I have one of my favorite games for the Game Boy Advanced. It is Metroid Fusion. I love the Super Nintendo, and this game feels so much like Super Metroid. I thoroughly enjoyed Super Metroid. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And this game is the closest they've ever come to Super Metroid. I love how the story is in this game. It's super story driven, and everything you do in this game revolves around the story. And even though, well, the one thing that I kind of don't like about this game is even though you unlock new things and you unlock power-ups and new abilities and stuff like that, there's a sense of urgency almost in that you have to keep progressing forwards and that you can't go back. And that's kind of a shame, because a lot of the things in this game that you unlock are mainly for things that you should go back for. But the story just seems so straight, so linear. It seems like you have to keep going. I don't really like that, but I still really like this game, so don't take that as me saying I don't like this. I love this game. The controls in this game are incredibly responsive, as they should be. They're incredibly responsive in most Metroid games, but I will say the one thing that I enjoyed even more so than the story in this game was the atmosphere. Oh my gosh, it was so creepy. I love games that have an eerie feel to them. The main enemy, I don't want to go into spoilers for this, but the main enemy in the game is called X. They're called the X. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you too much about the story, but regardless, they're alien species that fused with Samus. That's why the game is called Metroid Fusion. I don't feel bad about saying that, because, I mean, it's in the title. But regardless, that's how she gets all her power-ups. And this game being creepy and it having the shape-shifting aspect, it reminds me so much of one of my favorite movies of all time. And that is, of course, John Carpenter's The Thing. If you've never seen that movie, watch it. If you've never played Metroid Fusion, play it. That's all I can say. Didn't even mean to drop it there, but it gave a nice dramatic effect. Moving on, we have the Spyro Super Pack. A lot of people don't like the Spyro games on the Game Boy Advance, and I see why, because a lot of them are sort of more action-oriented, if you will. They're sort of not they're not as open-worldy, and they don't feel as big as the PlayStation 1 Spyros. And the PlayStation 1 Spyros I loved. I adored them. They're more of an exploration game. And this game, I think, helps that out. I think this game sort of goes back to that and gives more of an exploration theme. Alright. So, Spyro, Metroid, and Frogger 2. Those three were separate. These two I found from the same person. The first one, probably not so special to a lot of people, but I really loved it. It is Game & Watch Gallery 4. When I was younger, I had a Game & Watch portable thing. It was so cool. And I remember I played the heck out of it with my stepbrother. They were, if you've never seen one, well, the one I had at least was, it sort of looked like a battleship handheld, if you've ever seen those. The things where it would have a screen and then it would have two different layouts on each side so that two people could play it at the same time, and it was really neat. The main appeal to those for me, though, was the graphics were actually etched into the screen, and then the pixels would just move to those graphic points, and that was so cool. I loved the way that looked. It looked so good. But regardless, back to the actual Game & Watch game here. It's actually a compilation of, oh gosh, how many games? 20 games? I think 20 Game & Watch games about. And they remade a bunch of them. I think they remade about 10, and they enhanced them and whatnot. There's so many good games on this. My favorite personal game on this is Donkey Kong Jr. If you haven't played Donkey Kong Jr., you gotta go out there and get a Game & Watch with Donkey Kong Jr., because it is fantastic. A couple other on here that I really enjoy are Chef and Octopus. Those two are also really nice. The problem with this game for a lot of people is that the graphics and the sounds are really modest. They're dated. I'm going to be honest with you. They absolutely are dated. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I still think this game is fantastic. It's a ton of fun. I enjoy it thoroughly. It's definitely a great game to play if you're just trying to waste time. Not gonna lie to you there. So, Game & Watch Gallery 4, I would recommend it. Moving on, we have another very good game, a really recognizable game that I got from the same person. Mario Kart Super Circuit. This game, it's actually pretty nice for a racer on the Game Boy Advance, which is kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to have a good racer on the Game Boy Advance. The system just wasn't made for racing games. But regardless, this game, if you played it on a higher CC, it was really tough. It was really tough. It was tough and it was fast-paced, and I love that. I really enjoyed it. Even though the character selection in this game, I think it was super limited. I think you had maybe 7 characters? 7? I think. Off the top of my head, I can do Mario, Toad, Wario, Peach, Bowser, Luigi, and Yoshi. I don't think there's any more than that, but off the top of my head, those are the ones that I know. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Those are the ones that I think I know off the top of my head, but this game is huge. This game is very long-lasting. It has, I think, 40 tracks from it. Fantastic. It has old tracks and new tracks. I adore it. I think it is a perfect game to play if you're on an airplane, if you're in a waiting room, something like that. Second best racing game on the Game Boy Advance. Moving on now, we have boxed Game Boy games. And the first boxed Game Boy game, I actually, I got this game a while back. I think I got it in a thrift store. Oh, no. These are all from the same person. Never mind. The first boxed game we have here is Spyro, Attack of the Rhinox. Again, this game, every single other Game Boy Advance Spyro game, it was really action-oriented. And, I mean, I'm going to repeat it again. I played the first Spyro games on the PlayStation 1. And this game, especially, even more so than the Spyro Super Pack here, reminds me of the PlayStation 1 games, just because it was more about the exploration than anything. And I thought that was super important. The gameplay itself is actually pretty nice. I enjoy it a lot. The only problem that I have with it is that it's super easy. I don't think that there's a penalty for death in this game whatsoever. Like, it's just super easy. If you die, you just kind of restart and go again. It's not tough at all. And the one gripe that I have with this game is that it tries too hard to be long, if that makes sense. Instead of having just a long linear story with a bunch of different places to go, which it has. It does have a bunch of different places to go. But they try to make the story longer by making you go back to places you've already been after you unlock newer things. And that's not always a bad thing. But in this game, I just don't really think it fits. And I really enjoy the way it looks sideways. Unfortunately, it has to be sideways standing up for it to get the full effect, but I would love to have it this way, because, I mean, I store my games standing up for Game Boy Advanced box games, but still. You know what I'm trying to get at. I would prefer to have it that way, if it were up to me. But regardless, moving on. I said that Mario Kart Super Circuit was the second best racing game on the Game Boy Advance. This right here, in my opinion, is the best. It is Konami Crazy Racers. Even though I don't really like Konami anymore because of their recent actions, it does still have... The Konami games do have fantastic characters. I mean, just look at the characters in this lineup. Are you kidding me? How could you not love this? It has Dracula here from Castlevania. Hello. That's fantastic. It has Fox from Metal Gear Solid. It has my boy here, the Easter Island head from Gradius. Gradius is by far the best shmup I've ever played. But regardless, for the most part, this game is just a Mario Kart clone. I'm not going to lie to you. It feels pretty similar to Mario Kart, but in my opinion, the characters are cooler, and there's one feature that I really, really like. I think they're called driving tests. they're sort of like bosses, if you will. They don't let you proceed any further in the game until you beat these driving tests. Usually they're like, beat this racer 1v1, or complete this track in a certain amount of time, and those are the driving tests. They're not particularly difficult at the start, but the further you get into the game, they get so hard. And I love it. I love the challenge of this game. Fantastic game. Moving on, though. This one, I'm sad to see it, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy. It is FIFA 2004. I'm not a fan of sports games. I don't think anyone is. Well, old sports games. I don't think anyone really collects old sports games, let's be honest here. But regardless, if I'm going to get a sports game, I probably would want it to be FIFA, just because footy is my favorite sport. This one's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. To see Ronaldinho and Thierry Henry on the cover, that makes me happy. So I'll just gloss over that one for now. But moving on, we have one of my favorite games on the system, Donkey Kong Country, remake of the SNES game by Rare. Fantastic game. 100% quality game. This was before Rare went over to Microsoft and lost all of its head people, of course. This was when Nintendo and Rare were best buds, and this game is fantastic. Everything about this game is phenomenal. The graphics at the time were pretty good. Well, they're better than pretty good. They were really good at the time. And I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love 2D platformers, especially Donkey Kong. The one thing that I was sad to see is that they actually redid the soundtrack a little bit, and they took out a lot of the drum beats. And those were my favorite part about this game, was the soundtrack. It's not quite as good as the SNES version, but in my opinion, it's still a fantastic game. So moving on to the other two. The last two are both sports games, so don't get yourself overhyped there. One is Ultimate Beach Soccer here. I'm actually happy that it's not a FIFA clone. It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hadn't played it before, and it's actually not bad. I'm actually genuinely surprised to see a soccer game that's not just FIFA. But regardless, it is on the beach. It is by Dreamcatcher, so that's kind of cool. If you like beach soccer, then I guess you have that. And the final game from our boxed lot here. You're always going to get one. It's the obligatory Madden. It is Madden 2002. Well, what's this? Oh, it looks like we're getting caught. The lip is getting caught here on a manual. Let me fix that right quick. And perfect. Alright, Madden 2002. I'm not a big fan of football, American football, so wasn't really too happy to see Madden. But regardless, it's a boxed Game Boy Color game. How mad can you be? Now, I have one more game. I have one more thing I want to show you. It is not Nintendo, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Alright everyone, we are back. I apologize for the cut, but regardless, I picked this up at a flea market. I was genuinely surprised to see this company and this product. Moreover, the product, because I didn't know that they actually had one of these out. It is the Atari Touch Me. I know what Atari Touch Me is. I've played the arcade game. I did not actually know that Atari made a handheld version of the Touch Me. Believe it or not, this is the only handheld that Atari has ever released. I thought that was sweet when I saw this. If you don't know what Atari Touch Me is, it is an arcade game that came out in the mid-70s, I want to say. And basically, it's Simon. If you've ever played the Milton Bradley game Simon, this is actually where they got the inspiration for Simon from, was Atari Touch Me. It was an arcade game, as I said, but they made it into into this handheld, and I thought that was super cool. So when I saw it, I had to get it. So that's all I got. I think I got a pretty good amount of stuff, a pretty nice bundle here. I struggle to say that everything here is perfect, because a lot of the condition on the boxes especially isn't great, but I adore every single one of these games. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.